So Alex was a surprise and certainly a miracle baby for her dad and I. We had had several miscarriages before and had all really given up on having children. Went in for an ultrasound and they said that I was 6 months pregnant and I had a fetal heart monitor on my belly, and I remember the nurse looking at me and you know when there's something wrong. She went to get the doctor and they were like, "You've got to deliver now." I remember wheeling down to, going in the delivery room, and Tim was there, and we just looked at each other, and there's no way to describe it.
Because she was still a preemie, she took about 10 days or so to get to the proper weight and amount of eating that was required for her to be discharged. It was at that point we got her home. Alex was doing well, and about 2 weeks after we got her home, she went into respiratory distress. It was at that point that she was taken by ambulance down to West Palm Beach, where they emergently intubated her, and the helicopter from Miami Children's, or Nicklaus Children's Hospital at this point, flew her down.
You're looking at your baby in an intubated, she's intubated, everybody's busy on the flight. You do your best to stay out of the way. And I remember landing on the helicopter, and the people, they were there already. And Dr. Burke walked in and, with the most serious look on his face, with a pad of paper and a pencil, proceeded to sit down and draw out what was wrong.
I first met Alexandra when she was a newborn baby, and she presented with a complicated heart defect called a pulmonary artery sling. It's a very dangerous lesion for a newborn baby because an artery is wrapped around the airway, and it's hard for the babies to breathe, and we had to take her to the operating room essentially as a newborn baby and reconstruct her heart.
For us, it was another victory. We were walking out of a hospital again, getting into a car and going home.
But then after about 2 weeks, the same exact episode occurred where she went into respiratory distress. So at that point in time, she was brought again down by ambulance down in West Palm Beach, where they intubated her again, and the helicopter from Nicklaus Children's Hospital was brought up and flew her down again.
Alexandra presented to us with this pulmonary artery sling, and we took her to the operating room and we repaired it. But what we discovered at that time was she also had a more sinister heart defect, scimitar syndrome, where the veins that drain her left lung didn't get back to the correct side of the heart. And that was causing her to have severe heart failure and what we call pulmonary hypertension. The blood pressure in her lungs was way too high, and that can be lethal. So at 2 months after she had had her first operation, we went to the catheterization laboratory, found this abnormal scimitar type vein, and told her mom and dad that she had to go back to the operating room for another very high-risk operation. So it was very gratifying in the operating room, the way things fell into place. And when we opened up her atrium to see if we could connect her vein to the back of that atrium and found a way to line it up so that we could put these delicate sutures into her very fragile veins and have the connection stay open, that was a great moment.
Fast forward 15 years later, we were back in Miami for a follow-up cardiac cath, and Tim and I were sitting in the waiting room, and Dr. Burke came out, and he said, "Hey, how you doing?" Like, no time had passed. And it was crazy, because, he had saved her life.
Alex is really interested in the medical field and giving back, kind of paying it forward. And I could see her, thriving in the medical field, and she'll be able to relate some of her experiences that she went through to help the patients that she's going to take care of someday.
The heart condition has helped me find my purpose, and it's helped me figure out what I want to do in life. I'm trying to decide between a doctor and a nurse. I know I definitely want to go into something with cardiology, and I want to do it because I want to help other kids like me, and I want to impact other kids in the way that my doctors and my nurses have.